Well, this is a question that does divide people in England. There's no fixed answer. Some people would put in milk first, and then they would pour in tea from the teapot. But I feel there is quite a scientific way of answering the question, which is to point out that if milk is added first, that will cool down the tea, which is not a good thing because tea is a hot drink, so you want to drink it hot, and you want it to begin as hot as possible, so that then it will cool to exactly the right temperature for you, or you may like it very hot. So you don't want it cooled down by the milk. Whereas if you pour in the milk once the tea is already in the cup, then the temperature will be higher than the other way around. It's because as the tea comes in, it's steadily cooled by the milk that is in there. It's a scientific thing. You can Google it if you like. I would say without any hesitation, it's fish and chips. You've probably heard of that as our national dish. And as a Brit, I'm very proud of that as our national dish. And when I was in Britain, I used to eat fish and chips pretty much once a week. You could go to a takeout fish and chip shop, and it would cost. It would probably be getting towards $10, but you would eat really well. You would have a big piece of fish covered in deep fried batter, very tasty, and then it would come with chips, which is British for fries, but they wouldn't be thin and crispy. They would be like steak fries, but not crispy. Funnily enough, you might think that would be a bad thing because steak fries are normally supposed to be crispy, but actually they're very, very good, soft on the outside. If you've never tried proper British fish and chips, you should fly to Britain soon and go right to a fish and chip shop, and you won't regret it. When I am in England, the American food that I miss is barbecued meat. In Britain, barbecued food is grilled food. There's no concept of smoked meat. I'm not sure British people understand that you can cook meat in that way. I've never come across it in Britain, and so British people really are missing out, as I'm sure you would, as I'm sure you'd agree. Now that would be armadillo, fried armadillo. I knew that you have armadillos in Alabama, but I never expected to eat any armadillo until Betsy fried some up. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I've never had fried armadillo or armadillo of any kind. Um, just kidding. The strangest southern food, it would probably be fried okra. It was very good, but quite unusual, almost like a Japanese appetizer, I would say, but really, really very good. What do I like most about Southern culture? That would be screened in porches. I just think they're the most wonderful thing because you get to be outside, you're not plagued and annoyed by bugs. You can have great conversations with people well into the evening. They are a tremendous invention, and I like them very much indeed. Screened in porches. The one that I pay most attention to myself is probably Passover, and I think that would be the same for many other Jewish people as well. Um, uh, I would typically go to a Seder run by other people. For the last couple of years, I've gone to the Jews for Jesus Seder in New York. But if I had a family of my own in America, then I might start having a family Seder, which is something I remember from my childhood. I never get tired of the story of liberation from Egypt and the prospect of a greater liberation still to come from this fallen world to God's perfectly restored world to come. And I love the way at the end of the Seder, many Jewish people say next year in Jerusalem. And as a Christian Jew, as a Messianic Jew, when I say that, it's a way of saying next year in the New Jerusalem. In other words, come Lord Jesus. So the answer to the question would be Pesach, Passover. Like many things about New York, I really enjoy having all the latest movie releases accessible, close at hand, just a subway ride away. Very cool. The libraries, galleries, museums. It's great having them there, even if I don't actually go to them very often. But it's good to have them there and close at hand. It's exciting to have restaurants from every culture under the sun, also easily accessible. I think one thing I really value is the acceptance that you get here, because most of the people in Manhattan, at least, so far as I can tell, are not native New Yorkers. They've come from other countries, from other parts of America, and so you don't feel like you're treading on other people's territory. People are actually very accepting, and they don't really judge you until they've got to know you. There's a famous Martin Luther King quote about not judging a man by the colour of his skin, but by the content of his character. And I feel that happens in New York more than many other places that I've known, and I would probably single that out, that accepting nature of New York as what I value most. I feel very at home here, even though I'm not a native New Yorker or even well, I'm going to answer that in a non-verbal way, because it says if someone never heard you speak, and this is my answer. I think that Betsy would be a mixture of, or a combination of Rose for her beauty and Mrs. Hughes for her practicality, and Isabel Crawley for her good sense and her good way with people. As for which Downton Abbey character I would be, you will have to ask Betsy that question. Well, since moving to New York, I've rather liked the idea of vacationing in Ottawa sometime, Ottawa in Canada, because it sounds like the exact opposite of New York. It's been called the city that never wakes, and after New York that seems like a very relaxing prospect. So maybe Ottawa in Canada. I am very happy doing all kinds of things on an evening out with Betsy. Her company is the crucial thing for a perfect date. But there's one of our dates that I particularly remember is from towards the end of Betsy's stay in England last summer, when we walked along the Thames in London and made our way to it's a pub, but I guess it's been renovated in recent years, and we had a very nice meal there, and then walked back. It was terrific. Well, I got to know about Betsy through an article that she wrote for the Gospel Coalition website, which was about singleness, and it revealed that she was herself single and 33, which put her in the right kind of age bracket for me. But really it was the content of the article that caught my eye and attracted my attention. I felt it was a very contented article with true contentment, not just the kind of article where you feel the author is really trying to persuade herself or himself of something that he or she should probably believe, but evidently doesn't quite believe yet. I mean, there seemed to be real, genuine contentment there, even though, as she said in the article, she did still desire marriage, but was reconciled to the fact that she may never be married, and had found a way to maintain contentment in that. I thought that was so pastorally helpful to people like me who were also single and have begun to wonder if we might not ever get married, and to give people in that sort of situation real hope of contentment throughout the years ahead was a great achievement in the article. And so the content of it caught my eye, I would say, and I googled Betsy's name, found my way to her Beeson staff page, and was very glad to see that there was an email address which I could make use of, and also glad to see that there was a photo of a very attractive lady on the same page, and it was Betsy. I've been asked before about the favourite physical feature of Betsy's, and for the sake of consistency, I should give the same answer, I think, although I do like many of her physical features. But I said before that it was her eyes, and that is the answer that I will give again now. They are a very interesting shade of brown, a lovely shade of brown. I'm not sure what the correct term would be for the precise shade of brown that her eyes are. I know that artists have lots of different terms for the different particular shades of colours. So maybe I should find that out. But I could look into them for a long time. The character trait of Betsy's that's my favourite. I think I would say, I mean, I could say her godliness, but and that's probably most important. But if I had to single out something maybe that's distinctive about her godliness, I would say her capability. She is a very capable woman, and getting things done is often a large part of godliness. And it's great to think that she will bring that capability into our marriage and our life together.